Well, that's 2021 done, and I have to say, it was kind of like a sequel to 2020 in that it kind of rehashed a lot of the same stuff that happened in 2020, but it just was a slightly more boring and just not as exciting. And it all felt like it had already been done before. Kind of like most Ghostbusters sequels, you know? It's just 2021 was just one of those years that kind of happened, and you're just like, yeah, well, that was a thing, I guess. So what you like about 2020, it kind of dropped, you know, lots of exciting new shit on our laps, whether we wanted it or not. You know, hey, this is a new thing, this is a new thing, this is what's going to happen. And then 2021 just tried to repeat the same shit as 2020 as best it could, but just failed miserably. So anyway, here's hoping that they scrap any plans for any more sequels to the 2020 debacle and just go on, make some new stories that we can actually get on with and enjoy. But as it is, this is going to be my 2021 top figures of the year. Now, these are the figures that I own personally. Some of these figures, just they wouldn't be what you would expect. And normally I do 1/6 scale stuff exclusively, but as you know, recently I've been dabbling in different scales and whatnot. So what we're going to do is we're going to do my favorite small scale figures for 2021. And then we'll move on to the 1/6 scale stuff. So a special mention has to go out to this guy, first of all, the PX exclusive Diamond Select Crow figure. I didn't expect this. I don't know how this turned up anywhere. I didn't see it anywhere. I didn't know about it. I saw it on Comics and Cocktails, and I bought it thinking, what the hell is this? And it is just Eric Draven sitting in a chair with a nice sort of diorama display around here and whatnot. And you can see he's really cool looking. I have not unboxed him. And the reason I haven't unboxed him is because I don't really need to. I love the actual display in there. I like this window. I like the box. And normally I unbox all my figures, but I think this guy's going to stay packaged in. And he is very nice. He's very well painted. And I do love me a Crow figure. Now, I think Sideshow have teased they're going to be making a Crow figure. And I think Mezco have decided that they are also going to make a Crow figure. And I'm probably going to pick up that Mezco at the very least. Definitely looking forward to see what Mezco can do with the Eric Draven character. Okay, moving on, we're going to come up with the Mezco punk rock Harley Quinn. I really, really like this figure. Mezco really did a great job with this. She's got so much decent sort of details in the figure itself. You can see she's got this sort of mesh wired top on under the corset, and it's real mesh as well. It's not like sculpted or anything. It is actually fabric. She's got this really cool sort of fabric pleather jacket here that looks really cool. Really nice details on the back, half and half, black and red. Same with the helmet. This little hammer looks really good and fun. It's really nicely weathered. Again with the boots, she's got all the metal studs on. Very punk rock, and she fits in very nicely with that punk rock style Joker, the Clown Prince of Crime figure. And she just comes with so many accessories. I'm not going to pull them all out now. You know, you've seen this. If you want to check out reviews of it, you can. But she is definitely one of my top small scale figures of the year. I really enjoy posing her around. She's a lot of fun. While we're on the subject of Mezco, we're going to go with this 2019 Hellboy, and I absolutely love this figure. I think this is probably the best 2019 Hellboy figure anyone has made to date. And I know that's saying something because Hot Toys made one, and usually when Hot Toys make any sort of figure, you know, they usually end up being one of the top figures of the year. But honestly, this Mezco I think is actually better than the Hot Toys one. He's actually got a really nice sculpted body underneath that doesn't look like it's going to degrade anytime soon. The fabric on the jacket is very well made. It doesn't look like it's going to come undone anytime soon. The belt is nicely sculpted out of plastic, so it's not going to degrade like pleather. Same with the boots, same with the trousers. And he's got some very nice accessories. He comes with everything you would want, including extra guns. He comes with extra hands and extra head sculpt. And the reason I think that he is better than a Hot Toys one is because we all know those rubber bodies that Hot Toys make, they look great, they're stunning. They have all the movie accuracy you would want from a 1/6 scale figure. But you know that thing's going to split at some point, the elbows are going to crack. It's rubber. rubber breaks apart over time. It might not be for many years, but when you're spending this much on figures, you would like them to last as long as possible, if not forever. So, you know, that's why I personally think that the Mezco Hellboy wins over the 1/6 scale Hellboy. The 1/6 scale Hellboy wins in likeness and movie accuracy, but this guy is just an overall winner because he's going to last way longer. Next up, we've got the ZD Toys Iron Man Mark IV. Now, I could have chosen any of the ZD Toys Iron Man this year, but I'm going to choose the Mark IV because he is one of the more classic suits, and he's also got that extra light up feature just in the back here. And it lights up really nicely, and it gives him far more movie accuracy. The proportions on this guy are just top notch. Everything about it is great. The joints are tight. The articulation is actually really good. They've even given him these extended arm joints so they can pop out, so you can pose him even more. You can even pop the torso up and get more articulation out of him that way. And honestly, I just have to say that this is one of my favorites, and I think I've said it before. I think the ZD Toys Iron Men are some of the best figures that we've gotten in the last 2 years because of just how movie accurate they are, mixed with the articulation, mixed with the paint application. You're not going to get better for the price point that they are at the moment. Okay, next up on my list is the Neca April O'Neil from the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie. Now, yes, this is the part that no one likes, these knee bits here. Doesn't bother me too much, it's not too big a deal. I think Judith Hoag, I think her name is, or Judith Hoag, I think it's Hoag. Judith Hoag actually worked alongside with Neca in order to create this figure. So, you know, she was doing like interviews with them, and, you know, she was going through step by step. She wanted the best accuracy that she could get of herself for this figure, and I really like that. I like the fact that she got involved with it. It was a really nice little touch. And the fact that she's very well painted, surprisingly. So if we come in, you can see they've actually got like blusher on her skin, so it's not just like one flat flesh tone all the way through. There is actually sort of red sort of marks and blushes around by the cheeks and the forehead to make her look actually just a little bit more realistic, and it really works well. And the likeness is fantastic. Now, she's not perfect, she can't stand for crap. You've got to put it on this little plastic base, and you probably need one of the bigger plastic bases that they make, and it would be okay and stand better. But honestly, for me, I absolutely love what they did with this figure. It just takes me right back to when I was 10 years old, just sitting there in the cinema watching the Ninja Turtles movie back in 1990. Exemplary, and I absolutely think they did her justice with all the accessories and everything. So good on you, Neca, and good on you, Judith Hoag, for getting involved and actually helping out and being super supportive of the process. I wish we could get more actors and actresses who would be like just a little bit more hands-on with their products, so they can actually get the best product to the customer that they can. Okay, another one I'm going to put is the ZD Toys Iron Man Mark I. Now this gets a special mention mostly because just the sheer size and bulk of this thing with the details involved for the price point is just amazing. I will say, and I've got to be honest, the articulation is pants. We know that. I said it in my review of this figure. The articulation is not good. However, I do think he does need to have a special mention because of the paint application involved with this guy. They managed to churn out a pretty nicely detailed figure for a fairly reasonable price point. He could have been a lot more expensive. He could have actually been up there as being costing more than the others, like the other ZD Toys figures in the collection. But he's not. He sits right there at the same price point as all the others, and you've got to give him an applaud for that. Only thing I'm looking forward to is when they actually get a light up version of this guy, and then we can have sort of the arc reactor lighting up, and maybe they can do something with the eyes now, because again there's that sort of lack of sort of eyes behind the head sculpt here. That would be nice if they could do something with that in the light up version. Probably not. We're probably just going to get a light up arc reactor and that will be it. But I'll be super happy with that. I think it'll be great anyway. Okay, next up on my list is the Marvel Legends Certa figure from Thor Ragnarok. I love this figure. It's awesome. It's got sort of really nice sort of orange translucent body, but I've also added loads of sort of like burnt embers all the way around his body, extra paintbrushing and weathering, and he's got the flames licking up from his shoulders and that big ass transparent sword. And I put him on my shelf by the window, and occasionally some light leaks through, and then that will sort of glow up behind him, and he looks absolutely fantastic. It's a great looking Marvel Legend, to be honest. It's massive. It's the average height of a 1/6 scale figure. He stands out on the shelf absolutely every single time I walk past. I can't help but look at him. He's very imposing and it's very cool. I do wonder if people have modded this guy to actually give him some sort of light up features inside the body. I'd love to see that. Maybe I should Google it and see if someone has. But honestly, I'm in love with this Marvel Legends Certa. They did a great job with it. I was really chuffed to have him in the collection. I really didn't think we'd get one. And sticking with Marvel Legends, I'm going to go with Ironmonger. They did a fantastic job. I do wish they'd added a little bit more paint application to him. I mean, it is just like a straight sort of marbled silver here. You can see some of the marbling in sort of the crotch area there. But I really like the textures. Absolutely love all these little pistons that they've put in here. He's even got working pistons around the back here. I've popped that out because I want his arm posing upwards and it sort of hinders that movement a little bit, so I've popped it out. But you can see the piston sits inside here very nicely. He's got all these sort of armor plating here and more pistons up here. And he's just got that really sort of nice translucent arc reactor just sitting inside here. Would have been nice to have a light up feature, but again, you know, the price we pay is to be expected not to have that feature. But I absolutely love this. Again, standing there on the shelf really does stand out. You did get an Obadiah Stane figure with him, and that looks good as well. I think Jeff Bridges' likeness is there, but really you didn't buy it for the Jeff Bridges figure. You bought it for Ironmonger. And that's why he's in my top small scale figures of the year. And finally, we've got the Mcfarland Toys Batman Death Metal figure, and I absolutely love the bike and I love the figure. This sort of Grim Reaper style Batman with all the chains in here and all the studs and the spikes and this massive skeletal bat sort of frame around the bike. It looks absolutely badass. It looks like something that's just sort of flown off of a heavy metal album cover. It's just, he looks brilliant on the shelf. I'm really glad they made this guy. It was like, as soon as I saw it, instant pre-order for me. It looked the tits, and I'm so glad I picked him up. And kudos to Mcfarland for making him. Okay, moving into the 6 scale figures now. You knew it was coming. We're going to go with this 1/6 scale Hot Toys Alita figure. She's gorgeous. It's awesome. It's such an awesome looking figure. The design of the body, the head sculpt, everything is fantastic. All my criticisms aside, I genuinely really love this Hot Toys figure. It's one of the ones that if you collect Hot Toys for a while, you know, after a while it starts to feel a little bit samey. But when I unboxed her and actually got her out on the shelf and was looking at her, it felt like one of the first times I'd opened a Hot Toy again. You know, I felt refreshed in my collection, and I was just like, oh, I've been waiting for something as nice as this for a while. And when she came, she literally rescued me from like completely bailing on collecting completely. Especially with the Marvel figures, they've really sort of had to cut back on being very special with those. They're all very much, you know, the best they can do in the time with the resources that they have. But occasionally when they've been able to actually make a one-off figure, they step it up and they actually produce something really great. And this Alita is just amazing. And I'm going to give a slight shout out as well to the Mr. Toys head sculpt and the Daft Toys clothing set as well, because honestly I absolutely love this third party version of Alita as well. I mean, it's sort of like she's a mix between the movie and the manga in this one, and I'm just really chuffed to have her. I think Pop Toys are doing a Motorball version next year. I'm all in for that. I'm going to get her in a Motorball suit just here as well, and it's just going to look fantastic. Really looking forward to that, and I really like these Alita figures. I just think that this Daft Toys with the Mr. Toys head sculpt is great, but the Hot Toys Alita, like I said, rescued me from the doldrums of just completely stepping away from Hot Toys completely, because they were all Marvel, DC and Star Wars, and that's all we're getting now. And it's getting a bit hard to be really excited about Hot Toys when you kind of see what they're doing. You kind of know what you're getting. Like, it's the Dark Knight figures, we're getting them again. We're getting some more Star Wars, which is great if you're a Star Wars fan. It's fantastic. But if you're not, there's not much in Hot Toys offerings that will sort of really entice you to hand over hundreds of pounds of your money for something special. You know, if you love Star Wars, you're going to be putting all your money down and getting as many of those figures as you can get. But for me, I stepped away from Star Wars as soon as the sequel trilogy came out. I was like, look, every time they make a new Star Wars movie, I'm not liking it, and I'm not liking the brand as much. So instead of, like, I just think it was diluted for me. You know, like the original trilogy is great, and then the more you read, the more, you know, the prequels, sequels you see and stuff, it just felt a little bit diluted to me. So yeah, I stepped away. So I'm a lover of the original trilogy, but I wouldn't say I'm into any of the extended stuff anymore. So when they're doing all these sort of Mandalorians and Book of Boba Fett's and all that sort of stuff, I'm not into it. I don't need to spend hundreds of pounds on it, and I'm not going to. So next year, my interests are actually lying elsewhere in 1/6 scale collecting. Hot Toys, they're the kings, but next year I don't think they're getting any of my money. They might. I mean, the Mark V, if they drop that suit up Mark V coming out next year, and it, you know, it's amazing, I might end up buying that. But other than that, I'm not getting any of the Disney Plus stuff. I'm not getting any Star Wars stuff, and I don't think I'm getting any of the Batman stuff. I've already got a lot of the Batman things. Some people are saying get the Batman Forever suit, but I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of the movie. So the fact that we are not getting anything that I'm excited by Hot Toys, I've started looking elsewhere. And that's when we're getting into sort of Iconic Studios. They're producing that American Psycho figure. Andrew from Keyboard Warriors, he's part of that team. And he's like, I just know that they're going to do their best to make it as good as they can. So it'll be great, because they genuinely are an entire like collection of 1/6 scale enthusiasts. These are people who really love 1/6 scale. So it's going to be really exciting to see what they do. They seem to be, you know, hitting the right notes. They're not doing like a Molecule 8 thing where they're going out and promising the world. They're literally just showing their prototypes and saying, look guys, this is what we're aiming for. Hopefully they look as good as that prototype looks, because I'm all in for that. I've already got it on pre-order, so I'm showing my support. I want more stuff outside of the big three, Marvel, DC, Star Wars. I want more movie characters, movie icons and things like that. So yeah, I'm definitely on the support train for that. Not only that, but I'm really looking forward to the Sideshow The Dude. Now, Sideshow, a lot of people say like, oh, they show a really nice prototype, and then the final sort of production piece is just always a bit of a letdown. I've only got one Sideshow. No, I've got two. I lied. No, I've got three. Ooh, I thought I only had one, but I've actually got three Sideshow figures in my collection. So yeah, I do have a few Sideshows, and I'm happy with them. I do like them. So I'm really looking forward to their dude from The Big Lebowski. That is one I really want. So Toys Herman. He's you know, Rorschach from Watchmen. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the Rorschach Susu Toys figure. That looks fantastic. I like the improvements they've done with the coat. Less pleather the better. I am literally doing everything in my power to actively avoid buying pleather figures from now on. The Cajun card dealer, yeah, Susu Toys again. Massively looking forward to that. It looks fantastic. If they can nail the final piece as close to that prototype as possible, they're going to blow Sideshow's option out of the water. And also, and this is a really good one, the Blitzways Hunter figure. Oh my god, there's a new one coming out. It's no longer going to be a trio, it's going to be 4 of them, and I'm just really excited about that. I didn't think they were going to do more than 3. It looked like they finished with Dr. BB, but then they just dropped another one on our laps, Blitzway Hunters. So I'm really excited about getting another Hunter in the collection. You know how I feel about them. I think they're some of the best figures in 1/6 scale collecting that there is. I'm more than definitely going to be grabbing that when it comes out. Anyway, moving on, because I've really rambled on for the last 5 minutes or so about everything and anything. But yeah, Alita, one of my best figures of 2021. Some people say it came out in 2020. Shut up about that, because I didn't get mine till early 2021. So that's why I'm going with that. If I got it this year, it's in the count. Bit like this Stealth Spider-Man here. He's great. I absolutely love this figure. He is fantastic. He's absolutely fun to pose. He's not as bad as some of the other Spider-Man suits when posing him around. He's got obviously the split boot there. Happy days. I love these little goggles. You can see his eyes behind the goggles there, but then you can press this down and get the really sort of cool looking lenses over his eyes there. I love that sort of detail. It's those tiny little details that we want in 1/6 scale. So yeah, he is absolutely fun to pose around. I really enjoy all the details in the suit. You've got to look closely though. You see all this strapping on the side here, all of these bits. Sadly, I did not get the deluxe version. Why? Because I'm an idiot. I absolutely regret not getting the deluxe version. I really want that fire pit base, but I just didn't have the room for it. And so when this guy came up for sale, I picked him up, and yeah, I'm super happy with him, but I could have really done with that base. I would have been more than chuffed. Next up, we've got Gamora from Hot Toys. This was a fantastic release. She looks brilliant. The likeness is on point. I absolutely love all the details in the jacket. You got wiring in the coat itself. Got all these lovely little details in the boot. My only gripe is that it's not a split cut boot. Very frustrated by that. I do think it should have been a bit more articulated down there, because then you can have sort of more dynamic poses. But details wise and design wise, not only is this the best Gamora we've ever gotten, I'm not even sure they're going to be able to top this. They probably will, but I don't think so. So yeah, honestly, I absolutely love the way that she looks. She is so movie accurate and really well done. And they nailed the sort of hair design here. They actually put product in the hair and then kept it all protected in the box. So when you actually take it out and take the tissue paper off, it's already sculpted and styled, which is fantastic, because I know a lot of people hate messing around with the hair. But she is a really nice figure. She's definitely one of my favourites of 2021. I just wish they'd have given us sort of split cut boots so that we could pose her a little bit more dynamically on the shelf. Okay, next up is another Spider-Man, and we've got ourselves the Antioch suit. This is something that arrived here this year for my birthday, and I absolutely love this guy. I absolutely love the PS4 game, and I love the actual suit, the original sort of red, blue and white suit that he came with, and this is just like a really cool variation of that. I absolutely love all these little panels here with all the little sort of yellow accents going through that sort of light up with the UV light, and I absolutely love the big yellow spider there, and this really cool sort of base. Unfortunately, he does feel a little bit plastic. All the sort of these bits here are just all one sort of set black colour, which is a bit of a shame. I would have liked it to be a bit more detailed, but they were kind of like representing what it looked like in the game. So yeah, they kind of had to do that colour. But I absolutely love everything about this suit. I think it's super fun. He looks great, and then when you blast him with a UV light, he really does glow up. I wasn't going to miss out on the deluxe version of this like I missed out on the stealth suit version, so I'm just super glad that I was able to get this guy. He really does stand out on my shelf next to all my other figures. Okay, next up we've got Hot Toys Rescue figure. This thing is amazing. I absolutely love the paint application on this figure. She looks great, so movie accurate. It's really stunning, and I absolutely love the engineering they've done in the back of the neck here and stuff. So so that when you tilt the head up, this little bit of the neck moves out of the way so she can look up further. Like that's some absolutely amazing engineering. This is the kind of thing that I would expect from Hot Toys nowadays, is these types of little things that actually help us with posing of these figures. There's no way they should be able to just stand there bog standard on a shelf like a statue. You can see that these things have joints built into them. There's no excuse for you not having them with reasonable articulation, simply because there's robotic joints built into the actual suits themselves. So there's no reason to have them look movie accurate with seamless arms or anything like that. Joints are there for a reason, and they're supposed to look mechanical. So, you know, just put as much of your engineering and design into them as possible, and then we can get ourselves some fantastically posable 1/6 scale Iron Man figures. And yeah, Pepper Potts, the engineering and the design on this figure is just bang on. So that's why she's one of my top figures of the year. Okay, next up is the R Figures 1/6 scale Crossbones figure. I absolutely love this thing. The details on it are amazing. All these tiny pouches everywhere. You've got all these accessories up the arm, the gauntlets, the helmet, the eyes behind the helmet here. You can see he's actually got a full head sculpt underneath. Now, I do have my gripes with the figure, and like I said, when I first got this guy, there was a few things broken out of the box, but you know, I still managed to get some extra accessories. I've still got one of his bodies here. This will work really well as some sort of Schwarzenegger replacement, I swear to God. This guy's massive. He's a chunky body. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying to use this for a custom at some point. But as it is, this guy is absolutely fantastic. All the paint applications in the helmet, all the straps, the armor pieces, all the accessories. The gun sits in the leg holster here, all the clips, all the magazines. This back plate here is really good. The weathering. Yeah, I've got no complaints about this guy for a third party figure. I think it was absolutely brilliant. And if you got yours without any damage or any sort of breakages like I got, which I think was just bad luck to be honest, because I didn't hear many other people complain about it, then you got yourself a really nice figure. And yeah, he does actually add to your collection really well. So if you're a Civil War fan and you were just collecting as many figures from Civil War, this at the moment is your best bet for getting a Crossbones on your shelf. There are rumours floating about that maybe another big third-party company are going to do a Crossbones, but so far haven't heard anything else other than the occasional whisper here and there through the grapevines, but nothing is concrete right now. So as of today, this guy is your best bet to get a Crossbones in your collection. Okay, next up is the Toys Era Heimdall figure. I absolutely love the design of this guy. Now mine already has a little bit of a flaw in that one of these pieces is peeling away, which is a shame. It's just like a little bit of printed fabric on top of this pleather, and it kind of peeled away just a fraction, which is a tad disappointment, especially for the price you pay. But again, this is still such a chunky fella. I've given him some extended foot pegs so he stands taller on the shelf, which is why he's towering over Alita right now. But yeah, I absolutely love this big chunky die-cast sword, all the details in the armor, these little bits here. Honestly, you look at him and you go, that's Heimdall from Thor, full stop. There is no arguments, there is no, ooh, that's nearly Heimdall or something. You just look and go, yep, that's him from the movie, fantastic, and that's all I wanted. And I have to say, standing on the shelf in a display, he does look imposing and he does look impressive. Now I did have a few other third-party figures. I did have the Galaxy Warlord, Ronan. That's gone now. I sold that on, and I also sold the, I think it was the Black Order, Ebony Maw. I sold him on as well. I just don't have the room, so I've got to be a little bit more tight with my choices of characters, and I have to say Heimdall stayed in the collection. So you can tell that, you know, I've got a mad respect for what they did with this guy. They did a really good job bringing him to life, and yeah, he managed to survive the cut. That's why he's one of my top figures of the year. Okay, and finally, you knew this was coming. My top figure. This is the one. This is the best figure I got in 2021. I think some people got theirs late 2020, but it took so long with all this sort of delivery problems from Hong Kong and all that sort of stuff. She was a big box and they could not ship her for ages. So they ended up holding on to her in the warehouse for something like 4 or 5 months before I actually got her. So it took a while for her to get here, but she has finally arrived, and it is the Blitzway Hunters Dr. BB figure. I love this thing. I think it's one of the best figures in my collection. All the Hunters are some of the best figures in my collection, but Dr. BB nails it with all the details, the design. I think the headworks is just an artist in his own right. And then like Blitzway came along and they took his designs and they recreated them in a 1/6 scale figure form, and they did a fantastic job. I do wish that Blitzways were a bit more accurate with their prototype to final product production, because again, the prototypes are just far and above way better than anything on the 1/6 scale market today. But the problem is that the production, the prototypes, they make them as good as they can, try to do their best with the final production pieces, and they never really hit as close as I would like them to, but they still do a fantastic job, and they nailed this design. She looks great and impressive on the shelf. So many details. It catches my eye every time I walk into the room, and I can't stop looking at it. It's the same with all the Hunters. She's definitely my #1 pick for 1/6 scale figure of the year in my personal collection. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe. If you do me a favor now, if you can get the fuck out of my cave, I'm going to put all the figures back on the shelves where they belong, and I'm actually going to start thinking about, you know, dusting this place down so that I can do a full collection video of the room. It's been a while. Look, I've been struggling with health stuff over the last 7 or 8 months. I haven't been able to move around very much because of it. I've been slightly immobile, so I'm hopefully getting better in 2022. That's my goal. And now we're going to start seeing a few more videos of my collection and start seeing some of those new figures coming out. And yeah, 2022 is not the year of Hot Toys for me. It's going to be every other company that's going to get a look in, and maybe the occasional Hot Toy. But unfortunately, I've got to move away because I'm not as into Marvel now. I'm not into Star Wars, and the DC stuff that's coming out, it's not blowing me away yet. Take care now. Bye bye.